It's Tuesday, January 23. In the headlines, Education Ministry working on broadband access in schools. Major traffic changes due to Bob Marley movie premiere. In business news, Jamaica has strengthened its global passport ranking. Regionally, out of St. Kitts and Nevis, spotlight shines again on Caribbean CBI programs. And in sports, West Indies cricketer Nicholas Pooran named in ICC T20 Team of the Year. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. For the full newscast, head over to our YouTube page. Commuters are being advised that traffic changes will be implemented on a number of roads in the corporate area to facilitate the premiere of the Bob Marley One Love movie on January 23 at the Carib Theatre. According to the National Works Agency, the following changes should be noted from noon to midnight. Closure of Slipe Road to regular traffic between Orange Street and Halfway Tree Road. Old Hope Road will be converted to one-way northbound between Halfway Tree Road and Caledonia Avenue. Studio One Boulevard will be converted to one-way northbound between Lyndhurst Road and Retirement Road. Retirement Road will be converted to one-way eastbound between Studio One Boulevard and Halfway Tree Road. Retirement Road will be converted to one-way westbound between Studio Boulevard and Retirement Crescent. Studio One Boulevard will be closed between Slipe Pen Road and Slipe Road. Admiral Pen Road will be closed between Slipe Pen Road and Slipe Road. Morosco Road will be converted to one-way southbound between Caledonia Crescent and Heroes Circle. In the meantime, the authorities say taxis normally parked along Caledonia Crescent and Slipe Road will be relocated to the former King Burger lands. Coasters normally parked along Lures Crescent will be relocated to park along Caledonia Crescent. JUTC buses will be allowed to travel as normal along Slipe Road during the hours of the closure. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging young people to understand their role as citizens of Jamaica. Addressing a rap session at Rossi's High School in Lucy, Hanover on Friday, he emphasized the critical need for a productivity boost in Jamaica to propel the nation towards Vision 2030. The Prime Minister's visit to Rossi's High School is part of his ongoing listening tour across the island, where he's conversing with members of the public on issues affecting the country. One such issue is productivity.
Not how am I going to do it? How are we going to increase our productivity? Peace. Not how I am going to bring peace, how we are going to bring peace.
He says over the years, the youth have been left out of the conversation and plans.
And once you have dropped out of the equation of success, then success is dependent, your success is dependent on an external force, on someone else, on an external agent.
He says studies show that while Jamaica's productivity is declining or flat, the country's international counterparts are making significant strides forward, which he credited to the work ethic of citizens in those countries. During the session, the students were able to ask the Prime Minister questions on several topics, including housing, regional integration, and brain drain. Canada has announced a 2-year cap on international student visas. Immigration Minister Mark Miller says in a statement that international students program has been exploited by institutions, resulting in increased demand for housing, healthcare, and other services. According to Reuters, Minister Miller says the federal government would work with the provinces which oversee the educational system to apply the cap. He further explained that the cap is expected to result in approximately 360,000 approved study permits in 2024, a decrease of 35% from 2023. As the Education Ministry seeks to transform the education sector through the use of technology, Portfolio Minister Favour Williams says they are working on bringing broadband access to more schools across the country.
Speaking on the subject of connectivity during her presentation to the House of Representatives last week, Minister of Education Favour Williams says the ministry is continuing its work to ensure more schools have access to broadband internet.
We will continue the work to have all our schools connected with broadband internet. To date, Madam Speaker and colleagues, we have 663 schools connected to the broadband internet.
She says there are plans to work on more schools during this term.
We will be getting to more infant schools, primary schools, and secondary schools this term.
The Education Minister also gave thanks to Digestive for their partnership and their contribution of smart rooms.
Thank you to one of our important partners, Digestive, who has set up smart rooms in 11 primary schools and has committed to another 10 in this upcoming financial year.
Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I'm Denita Rodney.
Your digestive system is a network of organs that help you digest and absorb nutrition from your food. In this Living Healthy report, consultant gastrologist Dr. Mike Mills will give us some insights on how the digestive system works and issues the digestive system may face, along with some tips we may need to know.
Dr. Mills says the process varies based on the type of food.
The entire digestive process can take anywhere from 1 day up to 3 days, depending on what you've consumed. So the different things that you eat will be broken down in different ways by the body. If something is very highly processed, for example, simple sugars, can be absorbed very quickly in a matter of minutes to a few hours, whereas some things like very fatty foods, for example, can stay around and take a long time to be digested in the stomach. Some things like fiber, high fiber foods, for example, will move through the intestine very quickly and aid with expulsion in that way. So the whole digestive process can vary depending on the food that you're eating and the state that the body is in.
He says a human can develop various digestive problems.
There are a number of digestive system issues which we see on a day-to-day basis. Probably the most common one might be reflux disease, gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, as some people refer to it as. We may also have individuals with an ulcer, peptic ulcer disease. Constipation can be quite common. Diarrhea may be common as well. Outside of that, you may have bleeding, so blood in the stool is something that we see quite commonly. Jaundice, which is a digestive system disorder as well, can be quite common. Or bloating, changes in the bowel habit for the most part. These are some of the more common things that we do see.
Sometimes, while in the process of digestion, one can experience regurgitation.
Okay, so the sphincter at the lower esophagus is that muscle which controls the reflux episodes, and reflux is what we refer to when food comes from the stomach and goes back into the esophagus. So there are a number of factors which will cause this to happen. But the key thing is that you will recognize the symptoms of burning, for example, in the chest when you have reflux, or a sensation of water brash, so excess saliva in the mouth, for example. Vomiting is not usually a symptom of reflux. It can happen in very severe cases, but usually there's regurgitation of food as opposed to vomiting, which is a more severe or active expulsion of food. So regurgitation is that sensation of food in the back of the throat shortly after eating, associated with an acid taste in the back of the mouth. Your parents would have told you not to lie down because the change in position allows the esophagus and the stomach to basically be at the same level. So when they're at the same level, the food gets a chance to basically go to the point of least pressure and push against it. And in this setting, that would be the lower esophageal sphincter. So once the food gets into your stomach, it only has two places to go. It can either go out the exit of the stomach, which is into the small intestine, where it's supposed to go, or it could go back where it came from, which is the esophagus.
Let's talk about heartburn.
The heartburn is actually the same thing as reflux or gastroesophageal reflux disease. And it's called heartburn because both of the organs, the esophagus and the heart, are located in a similar area inside the chest. Usually a little more towards the left side for the heart and a little more toward the center for the esophagus.
He says the digestive tract can be infected.
Yes, the digestive tract is prone to infections. There are specific infections which are bowel location related. So, for example, gastroenteritis, which is an infection of the digestive system, tends to affect the upper and lower part of the bowel. So you have vomiting and diarrhea, for example, and that's caused by usually viruses or bacteria. You could have infections from something you're eating, so the food could be contaminated with bacteria, for example, so there's what's known as food poisoning.
At the end of digestion, what is not used by the body is expelled, and that experience changes with age.
Be taking multiple medications, for example, and these medications might have side effects which can affect the digestive system, increasing problems for burning in the stomach. If you're taking pain tablets, for example, or if you're taking aspirin or blood thinners, the risk for bleeding might be higher. Or if you're taking medications for certain conditions like Parkinson's, for example, it might slow things down. Or there might be other medications which can cause, a negative effect on the digestive system in some way. Blood pressure medications, for example, and diabetic medications. It really depends. Some can have an effect on the liver, and all of these things need to be borne in mind as you get older.
Time now for the Business Report with Denise Williams.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, your guide through the latest happenings in the world of business. The Bank of Jamaica reported that as at November 2023, savings at the 8 commercial banks in the island have combined customer savings that total Jamaican $875 billion, up from $806 billion for November 2022. The combined assets of the 8 commercial banks topped at $2.4 trillion. For the 25 credit unions across the island, the savings held by clients was around 139 billion Jamaican dollars as at October 2023, up from 124.6 billion the previous year. Credit unions hold 7% of the assets that commercial banks hold, and that works out to about 181 billion Jamaican dollars. The credit union movement represents about 1 million savers across the island. Jamaican-based investment company Cygnus Credit Investment recently purchased 95% of Puerto Rico-based loan financing company Accrescent. Bought in 2022, the Accrescent purchase cost US $24.3 million. Jason Morris, Cygnus Chief Investment Officer, noted that part of the short-term strategy of Cygnus Credit is to grow the business of Accrescent very rapidly over the next 12 months. Jamaicans can travel to 90 countries visa-free. According to the 2024 Henley Passport Index, Jamaica strengthened its global passport ranking. The Jamaican passport is now the 60th strongest passport in the world and the 11th strongest in the Caribbean. Visa-free access means that an individual can travel from their home country to another country with just a passport valid for at least 6 months of entering or leaving the specific country. This is made possible through agreements between both countries. During trading on January 22, 2024, the top advancing stocks covered the finance, entertainment, and distribution sectors on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Cygnus Credit Investments Limited US dollar shares advanced 27.49%, for a slight improvement in the share price by 2 cents to close at 9 cents with 64,000 shares traded. KLE Group Limited shares advanced by 22.83% for an upward shift in price of 42 cents to close at $2.26 with 118,000 shares traded. AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited shares advanced by 20.54% for a positive movement of 53 cents to close at $3.11 with 2,680 shares traded. On the declining stocks that traders experienced on January 22, 2024, the top 3 losers covered the technology, construction, and food sectors. Productive Business Solutions 9.75% cumulative redeemable shares declined by 25% to lose $30 off of yesterday's share price to close at $90 with 8 shares traded. Berger Paints Limited declined by 14.98% for a fall of 92 cents to close at $5.22 with 10,815 shares traded. Salada Foods declined by 11.95% for a downward shift in price of 46 cents to close at $3.39 with 107,000 shares traded. Over to the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Trading activity for January 22, 2024 on the first tier market registered a volume of 183,000 shares crossing the floor of the exchange at a value of 4.4 million Trinidad and Tobago dollars. Massey Holdings Limited was the volume leader with 68,000 shares, changing hands for a value of 303,000 TT dollars, followed by ANSA Merchant Bank Limited with a volume of 42,000 shares being traded at 1.8 million TT dollars. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies on the regional stock markets, we turn to the Forex market. On January 22, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US $19.1 million was bought from Forex traders, while US $16.3 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollars for $156 and bought the US dollars for $154.58. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $1.42, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of $8.78 from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $117.99 and bought for $109.21. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $11.06, selling it for $201.48 and buying it for $190.52. For our credit report tip of the day, monitoring your credit report is a powerful tool for detecting and preventing identity theft. Regular checks allow you to catch discrepancies early and take proactive steps to safeguard your financial well-being. As we navigate the ever-evolving landscape of personal finance, let's recognize that the credit report is a pivotal asset in your financial toolkit. Regularly reviewing and understanding the insights it provides empowers us to make informed decisions, seize opportunities, and build a solid foundation for financial success. Let's not just have a credit report, let's leverage them to shape a better and brighter financial future. And with that, we wrap up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Appreciate your company. Stay well informed, stay ahead of the curve. Until our next update, take care.
In regional news, articles on Caribbean citizenship by investment programs have been appearing in international media concerning continued scrutiny and pressure from the European Union and the United States over CBI programs, including that of St. Kitts and Nevis.
In recent times, articles have appeared in publications such as Bloomberg, Shenzhen Visa, and Bob Report, all indicating heightened concerns by the European Union and the United States over security risks, money laundering, and fraudulent activities that could be facilitated through CBI programs. Referred to as the sale of golden passports, the articles identify specific interests in the Eastern Caribbean countries of Dominica, St. Lucia, Grenada, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Kitts and Nevis. In the case of St. Kitts and Nevis, several legislative and regulatory enhancements were recently implemented by the government to address the concerns, involving some of the most rigorous vetting procedures, yet there appears to be constant efforts being made to end such programs. CBI financial inflows provide over 50% of the St. Kitts and Nevis government's revenue, which is why Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew said the program must be protected. SK Newsline is seeking clarification on CBI matters from the government. Meanwhile, a notable publication on Latin America and the Caribbean recommends that Caribbean countries move quickly to diversify their economies and pursue sustainable development policies. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
In Grenada, a statement issued by the chief medical officer during the past week on the rise in COVID-19 cases has left some Grenadians anxious. GBN News has the details.
No need for panic, so says Kevin Frederick, Senior Health Promotions and Communications Officer in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. With word out that the country is experiencing a rise in COVID-19 cases, there is worry that Grenada's Golden Jubilee celebrations may experience some interruptions. In a statement issued by the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sean Charles, last week, there were 7 confirmed cases recorded from the 27th November 2023 to 31st December 2023. Dr. Charles further revealed that from the 1st to the 8th January 2024, 17 cases were recorded. Our news desk was in conversation with Frederick, who indicated that it is normal for persons to feel anxious based on past experiences with COVID-19.
It is okay for persons to really attend the independence activities. We do, I would say, have the situation largely under control. There isn't widespread, transmission. So, as I said, at the top of it, it is okay and it is normal for people to, be wary, and be nervous. But remember, your health and your wealth starts and ends with you. So if you follow the advice, if you follow the steps, the practices, at least you are protecting yourself. And when you protect yourself, you also protect your loved ones and others in your immediate circle. So at this time, there is still no need for panic.
The communications officer encouraged citizens to heed the advice provided and trust their healthcare practitioners.
As a ministry, and all that came with it for over 3 years, I am confident that our Ministry of Health and our respected team of experienced professionals are more than qualified and capable of dealing with this situation. Because this is doable. All that is required is for you, that is the members of the public out there, to play their part. I am talking about is simple. Follow the advice of the Ministry of Health. Know the symptoms of COVID-19. Wear your mask. Maintain physical distance. Wash your hands as often as possible with soap and clean running water. If you don't have soap and clean running water, we encourage you to use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with anything above 65 or so percent of alcohol in it. If you feel sick and are a bit concerned, notify your healthcare provider and arrange to be tested. We also want individuals to eat properly, rest well, drink plenty of water.
The ministry could not confirm if the latest COVID-19 variant of interest, JN.1, is among any recorded cases, because the last time the reference lab at the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, confirmed the type of COVID-19 variants in circulation was in September 2023. At that time, Omicron HH.2 and Omicron XBB.1.16 were the variants. Christina John, GBN News.
Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says the sky's the limit for Trinidad and Tobago's energy sector. Terry-Ann Brown Campbell has that story.
Addressing the Trinidad and Tobago Energy Conference 2024 on Monday, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley described a bright future for the country's energy sector.
We were at the verge of losing plants. I spoke to one of our major participants a few weeks ago in Canada, and the excitement was that there may be possibilities sometime in the not too distant future of adding plants.
Right.
Once the supply of the raw material is seen to be available and sustainable, then the sky is the limit for us as long as the industry survives.
The Prime Minister referenced the recently negotiated agreement with Venezuela to explore and exploit the Dragon field.
Around us, the basin is still alive and well and full of potential. So it seemed to be a logical reason and conclusion that regardless of the circumstances, the economics say that we have the infrastructure on the ground, we have the need for the raw material is available across the border, get the diplomacy going, get success in the diplomacy, and then the commerce will follow.
Dr. Rowley explained to energy stakeholders one of the biggest attractions for investors to this country, besides our experience, stability and democracy, is our mutual respect for our investors.
It means now that all the raw material that is available outside of our border, as long as the relationships, the collaboration and the diplomacy is in place, there could be a significant flow of that raw material into Trinidad and Tobago, and that then necessarily gives us a long-term future and growth and sustainability.
The energy conference began on Monday and will continue until January 24. Terry-Ann Brown Campbell, TTT News.
In sports, we're on the pitch with cricket. T20 star Nicholas Pooran was the only West Indian in an Indian-dominated ICC men's T20 team for 2023. More from TTT Sport.
A consistent performer with the bat, Pooran only failed to reach double figures 3 times in 13 innings, making 384 runs at a strike rate approaching 163. Pooran's 41 from just 19 balls against South Africa in Johannesburg kick-started a West Indies innings of 220 for 8, an important knock in the 7-run win. Back-to-back knocks of 41 and 67 against India followed, ending the 5-match T20I series with a score of 47 in the final match. Pooran ended the year with the home series against England, making 82 and 39 in matches 4 and 5 of the series, won by the men in maroon. He stands as the wicketkeeper for the team with Surya Kumar Yadav as captain. Ugandan all-rounder Alpesh Ramjani stormed into the team along with Zimbabwe stalwart Sikandar Raza and fellow teammate Richard Nagarava.
Female cricketer Hayley Matthews was also named to the ICC T20 Team of the Year. Still on cricket, Indian batter Virat Kohli has withdrawn from the first 2 tests against England for personal reasons.
The 35-year-old former captain has told Indian skipper Rohit Sharma and the side's management that certain personal situations demanded his presence and undivided attention. The 5-test series begins in Hyderabad on Thursday. Kohli's withdrawal comes one day after England batter Harry Brook returned to the UK also for personal reasons. Kohli has not missed a test match for India for more than 2 years when he was ruled out for the match against South Africa in Johannesburg with a back spasm. India will name a replacement in the squad for Kohli, who led the side in 68 test matches between 2014 and 2022.
And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.